care to share where you were born?
If I was born in Maryland, that's all I know. It might have been like somewhere in Silver Spring, but I can't remember the actual hospital.
And care to share where you were raised?
Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
And care to share where you reside these days?
I live in Massachusetts right now.
Do you want to get any more specific than that as far as Massachusetts?
No, I don't like people knowing where I live.
Now, when it came to being raised in Upper Marlboro, is that what you said?
Yeah, like Marlboro cigarettes.
Okay,
Yeah,
Marlboro. Okay, got it.
yeah.
Does it get any more specific than that? Like, was there a specific portion or name or something deeper than just Upper Marlboro? Or I may just, sorry if I'm butchering this completely, but
Yeah.
those in the audience know what I'm trying to say. Does it get any more specific, like a specific part of that area
Mm.
for you that you grew up in?
Nah, I would say honestly, I remember one time I was working and this person said that they lived Upper Marlboro, and I said, "Oh, I live there too." And she said, "The 20772 side or the 20774 side?" And I was like, "What the fuck does that even mean?" But yeah, I guess the 20772 side.
And what age range do you think you were in that area for specifically?
I was there all 18 years of my life, my adolescent life. Yeah, that's where I was born and raised.
And at what age do you make that move to Massachusetts?
18. Well, no, sorry, my bad. I made the move because I went to school out of Maine. So I was there from 18 to I graduated in 2019. So what was that? 22, like 22. So I moved out to Mass like 22.
And why Mass of all places back then for you?
I was just having a significant other that you're in love with, and yeah, you just make that move, and also just enjoying the energy of that area. I felt like being in Massachusetts, I was way more creative as well, and yeah,
And what's the status of you and this significant other at this point in your life?
she's the love of my life, and that's all I can say.
Now, for you, what was that really like growing up in, say that number one more time? Of
20772.
Yeah, what was it really like growing up in that area for you? All 18 years. Are you able to dive any deeper with those
I
details?
grew up pretty sheltered, so I didn't really have like what's the word? Like I obviously I had experience. I had friends like hanging out in neighborhoods sometimes, but I was pretty sheltered. So growing up, it was kind of more so for me going to church most of the time.
And when it comes to church, do you follow religion at this point in your life?
I wouldn't say I follow religion, but I'm not gonna sit here and deny Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior either.
Now, can you shed some light on that?
It's just like I just believe in it. There's moments where I felt like I doubted it, but I don't know. Like there's not enough in the world to prove me otherwise.
Now, when it comes to Christianity,
Hmm.
does it get any more specific on how you were raised? Like a particular branch or denomination under Christianity,
Nah, I was
perhaps?
non-denominational.
Okay.
Yeah,
And was that raising on the mother side of the family for you, father side of the family for you,
both,
or both?
both.
Got it. And what would you say growing up in that area for you? Okay.
Hmm.
Don't want to butcher the number or the name here, so I'll just put it like that. But what would you say was your top point for you growing up? What was the highest point that you achieved growing up? What was your most positive moment growing up in that environment, as sheltered as it was for you? Was it the football side of things that you described previously? Was it the music side of things that you described previously? Or maybe there was a moment that you haven't discussed yet. Your highest point growing up for you.
I would say learning how to play chess was really fun. I used to do tournaments as a child. Um, that was really fun. That was really a high point for me. And then I'd also say, hmm, another high point. No, I would probably say the chess. Chess was cool. Oh, discovering skateboarding. That was cool. I sucked at it. I only knew how to do like 8 tricks, but I really did love skateboarding. I wish I put more time and effort into it. I feel like I at least be able to do like a tray flip by now, or at least be able to do it consistently. Yeah.
When's the last time you touched a skateboard?
Maybe like 3 years ago, I had bought one, and I was like, "Yo, I'm at least like get my ollies back," but I never uh, tried after that. Yeah.
Did the discovery of skateboarding have anything to do with Lil Wayne or Pharrell back then, or Lupe Fiasco?
Nah, bro, Tony Hawk video games. Come on now. Like, just like really diving into that, being a fan of like Paul Rodriguez, Ryan Sheckler, um, obviously the GOAT Tony Hawk. My favorite skateboarding brand was Element growing up. Najee Houston is my favorite skater of all time, actually. Um, but yeah, like discovering that and then discovering stuff like Thrasher magazine and just like the whole nine of like skateboarding. Like even though I couldn't do what they did, bro, I like really just enjoyed watching like the skate tapes, the girls skate tapes and Plan B and all that stuff. Yeah,
And why this individual in particular was your favorite?
Najee Houston, because like that was the first time I seen like a black kid like on a skateboard and like actually really fucking good at it. Like I remember seeing him at the X Games, and street skateboarding is like what I just like kind of like got into, and seeing him do that and like actually like get a medal his first time. And I think he was only like 14 when he did it, bro. Like that shit looks so cool to me, bro. I wish I wish I could skate like he does, bro. It's insane what Najee Houston could do.
When's the last time you played a game of chess?
I played it on the airport. I lost to the computer. But yeah, I played it when I was on the plane coming to Atlanta.
And what's your thoughts on AI when it comes to chess at this point?
What do you mean?
According to Google here, AI has beaten human chess players in many matches and has been able to outperform human players for
Have they
decades.
beat Magnus?
Examples of AI beating human chess players: Deep Blue versus Kasparov, if I'm pronouncing that.
Kasparov?
Yes.
Are you serious?
In 1997, Deep Blue defeated world champion Garry Kasparov in a 6-game match. This was the first time a computer had beaten a world champion
I
in a
didn't know. I
match.
did not know that. But if an AI can beat Magnus, then I'll believe some, cause he like the greatest right now.
AlphaZero versus Stockfish. AlphaZero defeated Stockfish, the 2016 TCEC world champion, in 1,000 games.
Oh,
AlphaZero won 155 games and lost only 6.
that's crazy. I'm not familiar with those names, but that's crazy.
All right. Now, what about on the other side of things? Okay, if that was your highest point,
hmm
on the opposite end of the spectrum, what was your lowest? What was perhaps your most negative moment, bottom point for you, growing up in that numeric figure there?
I'd probably say at 16 losing my grandmother. That'd probably be like my lowest point, like growing up in Maryland. Yeah.
Was this actually something you saw with your own eyes take place?
Well, technically yes, cause I remember she had moved into the crib when I was like 16. My other grandma, she had gotten dementia, and she was already moved in the house, so they had she was sleep my they had my grandma in my basement of the crib, and I just vividly remember going downstairs, and she just wouldn't wake up. So she technically wasn't dead at that point in time, but like when I seen her and my dad trying to wake her up, I knew she was gone. So yeah, yeah.
And what did that look like? What did that feel like? What
Devastating. My grandma has meant everything to me. Both my grandmas.
and which one was the one that wouldn't wake up? Was that
My dad's side.
okay?
Dad's mom.
Now, was this the first time you had seen anything of that nature?
Nah. I've had family members, loved ones die. Like my first remembrance of death, probably like 6.
Like actually take place in front of you?
No, not in front of me. Not in front of me. Not in front
Okay,
of me.
yes, but when it came to your Okay, so let me back up for a second.
Yeah.
Have you seen anyone lose their life in front of you?
The closest thing probably be my grandma.
And that was more so you seeing the aftermath of what had taken place.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, when it comes to this grandmother of yours,
Hmm.
uh, what was she really like?
She was fun. She was she was just fun. She was loving, always made you feel like she was there and that she cared. Both my grandmas. But my dad's grandma, yeah, she was just loving, just always there, always cared.
Do you remember the last correspondence you had with her
Well,
before she passed?
before she passed, like she was kind of like losing it a bit, so there was really like no like real like kind of conversation. But um, last time like I really remember is because my uncle had passed away before I was born, and I remember like around the time like this was around the time like I didn't know this about my grandma until like before like she passed, but like on the day of like when he died, or I believe on his birthday maybe, like she would pray about and like really meditate and kind of like mourn the death of her baby. So I remember having that kind of moment with her as a young before like she passed.
And you mentioned she was slipping out of it a little bit. How
Yeah, yeah,
how long that moment before she ends up actually passing away?
that night. Yeah, that night.
Now, when it comes to your grandmother here,
Hmm.
do you have a favorite memory of her you'd like to share with the audience today?
Christmas time. Always my favorite moment with my grandma. I remember I think it was her camera. She had a camera, I think. And it was a disposable camera. The joint said like shoot out like the big pictures and you shake it and it turns into a camera. I remember like taking pictures of like her and my other grandma and everybody in my family, like just family photos and stuff like that. So that was probably like my favorite time. Like she cooking breakfast. My grandma, my dad's mom, she used to put pepper on like everything. So I remember like putting like pepper on eggs, like she would boil hot dogs, like just like all this like she never put pepper on hot dogs, but like I remember like she made grits, she put pepper on it. She everything she it was pepper. I remember that vividly.
Did you have a favorite dish that she would cook?
I love genuinely love how she made her eggs, bro. Like they just were really good.
You want to describe it? Are we talking like scrambled,
It
sunny
was
side
scrambled
up,
eggs, yeah,
or
scrambled eggs. I can't really like describe like the taste of it. Just like it just was good to me. Like I remember them tasting good.
now what's the best advice you received from her? Or most important thing you learned being around her?
Not to smoke cigarette. That was probably it. Like that was the one thing I just didn't like that she did, bro, because I knew it was like kind of like killing me. And it's crazy because like I smoke weed. I don't know how much like you know detriment that is. I feel like it's healthy, whatever. I don't utilize tobacco in my weed, but yeah, seeing her smoke cigarettes, like I was just like I don't want to do that. That was like the one thing, just like action wise, seeing her do, and I knew, like even like knowing that she would, try to quit and stuff too. But yeah, seeing her smoke cigarettes, that was just like something I would never do growing up.
Respectfully asking you this, was that the actual cause of her death?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Now, was she able to see the music side of things from you at all?
Mm-mm. She was past before she saw me like flourish as an artist. Yeah.
She saw the sports side?
I don't think she ever came to a game. I don't think my dad ever brought her to a game. My games were kind of far, like especially high school and honestly youth football too. Cause played in the Capital Beltway League, so like you would go all up and down Maryland, so a little too much travel.
Well, speaking hypothetically here,
Yeah.
what do you think she would think that you ended up doing music and having a music career, of all things?
The one thing about my grandma, she's supportive of my grandmas. They were just supportive of whatever you did as long as you was doing something right. So I think she would be really proud of what I'm doing.
Have you created a song about her by any chance?
On my personal, on my like just personally like making the songs, but I've never put them out.
Why not?
I like to give that upfront honesty, but it's just not any of the songs that I made. They just didn't really feel like they made sense to put out. It's kind of like more like therapy for me.
Do you think any of those songs will ever see the light of day?
Maybe one. I don't know yet. Probably nothing that I've made about it yet, but it never. It probably could in one of my albums eventually.
Now, mentally speaking here,
Hmm.
has this been something you sought any professional help over? The death of your grandmother,
Nah,
grandmothers,
nah.
uncle, things of that
I did
nature.
therapy for like 2 months. I don't think we ever got to that conversation.
Now, be that as it may,
Mm.
do you want any professional help with that?
Nah, I feel like I'm okay. I've made peace with it. My grandma's been gone. I'm 27 right now. She died when I was 16. I'm mentally okay about it. I do think about her often, and it's crazy. I was recently at my parents' house and I found one of her old purses and it smelled like her. That was a crazy like experience because especially I haven't seen my grandma in years. Like it just kind of like threw me for a loop that it was like her genuine like smell. So like yeah, that was crazy.
You mentioned your age here. Care to share your birthday as well, just in case there's some misinformation online about you? The month
Yeah,
and the day,
yeah.
perhaps.
May 16th. I was born May 16th, 1997.
And why open about your age as well? Because there are some recording artists who are not.
I don't care. I don't see what the point of caring about it is. Like I'm just Malik, man. This is who I am, bro.
Now, you didn't share what the therapy was for way back when, and you received 2 months of that treatment.
Yeah.
Was that helpful at all for whatever it was you were facing at the time?
Yeah, no, I would like honestly if if like it was not as expensive as it was, I definitely would do it again. Like, when I'm able to, I definitely would love to do therapy because like it helps you think about things better. And I would say like it definitely just gave me a broader perspective of like who I am as a human being and how to effectively understand my emotions. So it was definitely a great benefit.
And was therapy back then for you something that was strictly voluntary on your end? Were you forced
No,
to
I wasn't
go?
forced. I went myself.
Okay.
Yeah, just went myself.
And what got you to try that? Because there are some that are closed-minded on that sort of thing.
I've always wanted to do it. It was just a matter of like, am I able to do it? Can I afford to do it? Type of deal, and just trying it out and doing it, even for the small amount of time that I did. Like, it was definitely a great benefit. I feel like everybody should at least try it. I don't think therapy necessarily is for everybody, but it is something to try to be able to get that unbiased opinion from somebody.
Can you explain that reasoning there, why it might not be for everybody?
Cause
But yet you said that everyone should at least try it?
I would say, what's it might not be for everybody because like s- people have ways of dealing with things on their own that you can just kind of like learn if you spend time with yourself. But certain things you may need to talk to an outside source to be able to internalize and hear from outside of yourself to learn, if that makes sense.
And care to share the type of professional that you saw way back when? Was it just strictly just a therapist, or like was it more of a specific profession that this person held?
I think it was just therapist.
Okay, because there are different kinds of mental health professionals out there. Didn't know
Yeah.
if it was a specific name for that. Now, just to wind the questions down here, just about your upbringing,
Hmm.
as sheltered as you were,
Yeah.
how were you able to survive that upbringing in that numeric figure that you described or presented previously that I can't pronounce because I don't want to butcher? But there are some that don't make it?
As it was like shelter kids.
Well, let's just take the sheltered equation out of it. Just zooming out,
Yeah.
how were you able to survive that upbringing in that area? Because there are some that
Mm.
just don't make it, sheltered or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel because like I'm I feel like I'm able to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to be able to like communicate with people. So like to be able to survive, like I can hang out with all different kinds of people. I'm not the type of person to judge, and I'm also not the type of person that's about like, gossiping and bullshit and stuff like that. It's just not who I am. I worry about myself. If somebody, wants to confide in me and tell me like I'm always there to help, like if we have that type of relationship. But I don't know. I feel like just being myself is like what helped me survive, but also like knowing that being able to think for myself and, you know, thinking bigger of where I am in my life is also another thing of like helping me survive. And also going to college too. I feel like that like being able to like step out of like my parents' house and being able to like do my own thing like really allowed me to like learn and also just like seeing different places and different states and stuff.
Now, there are some who say things like, don't know if I'll make it to see
Yeah.
the age of 18, maybe 21, for example.
Hmm.
Did you have any of these thoughts yourself growing up in that area for you?
Not for me, no. I wasn't about any type of life that I could die at 18. But also, you never know when your death date is. So I never really thought about that. I always thought about a better life for myself.
Now, be that as it may, knowing what you know now, hypothetically speaking, what would you have said to your younger self back then, if anything?
Mm, what would I say to myself? Uh, Probably
Is there
pr-
something the 27-year-old would say to your 17-year-old self?
protect your energy. Yeah, that's what I would say. Protect your energy because people want to suck the life out of you.
Now, there may be some in the audience wondering how to do that. Any
Set just communication. Like for me, I feel like I'm still working on it today, like getting better at my communication, but like, like having those boundaries of like saying like, hey, letting people know that, hey, I'm not really in the best mental state right now for certain conversation. And if they can't respect that, remove that person from your life. Essentially, you have to be able to effectively communicate. Most of the things that happen, why problems are caused or why issues like happens because of just misproper communication. We all do it, because we're human and we make mistakes, but setting good boundaries for yourself is the way to protect your
Now, zooming out
energy.
in regards to your upbringing here, is there anything else you want to mention just about that subject matter there? Or question you weren't asked? People want to know just about that itself.
Mhm.